you need to acknowledge that what you are doing is important. You take back your power by acknowledging, yes, I am a girl and I am designer and my work is important.
Hi everyone, welcome to Kakacomputer. And for today's episode, we're gonna talk about women's voices and women's stories in tech. Yeah, so first of all, hi, I'm Darla David. I'm a cloud engineer at eCloud Valley, Philippines, and I'm a content creator. How about you guys?
Hi, I'm Athena Angeles. I'm a software engineer who specializes in artificial intelligence.
And I'm Kayose. I am a UI UX designer in Aladex. And I am also the Google Developer Group Davao community lead.
Wow, well, it's very nice to meet all of you. I guess we can, start from the very bottom, from the very start. So, syempre, first, actually, this is the first time where we have, diba, person natin magkakilala ngayon. So,
Yeah.
I wanna start then kung paano ba kayo nag-start sa tech? Like, you can go. You can go first.
Okay, so my beginnings were really on Tumblr. I used to sell Tumblr themes. So I was just interested in like ways to make passive income when I was in high school because I was just bored. And then I decided like a good way to do it would probably be to do something in tech because I was always really interested in ICT classes. And I went to an all girls school and there weren't really any coding classes the way that they
Yeah.
had them in all boys schools.
Mhm.
So I wanted to learn a new skill that I knew wasn't going to be a part of our curriculum.
Mhm.
So that's why I decided to start small by doing like HTML and CSS themes on Tumblr. And I was like, if there's a way I can monetize this, then even better. And I did. And, as I got to develop more complex themes, I would integrate JavaScript.
Wow.
And then now we're here.
Like in high school?
Yeah. And then I got into AI specifically
Mm.
because I was doing research for a school project on our hero. So I started looking more into different people in tech. And that's how I come across Ada Lovelace. She was the first programmer. And she was a woman.
Yes.
And I also came across, Alan Turing, and I was so compelled by the paper that he did, wherein he introduced the Turing test and the concept of artificial intelligence when it was in its very fledgling state before we even had a word for it. And yeah, that's what got me into it. And now we're here, and I'm enjoying my life and my journey in tech. What about you guys?
Well, okay. For me, so growing up, I have always loved, tinkering around the house.
Mhm.
So, pinaglalaroan ko yung mga TV settings namin kahit wala namang masyadong impact. And then I always play with my parents' devices, yung mga phones nila. Pinaglalaroan ko lang. And then I always find myself in front of our family computer. And then just tinkering about it as in kinakalikot ko lang siya. And then, yeah, I've always also loved playing video games. So, ayun, I've always been fascinated by what tech can do and how it can, improve our daily lives and how it can turn our ideas into reality. So, yeah, despite my family being in the medical field, I chose tech because honestly, I cannot see myself in any other field. So, yeah, currently I'm a young professional and early in my career, I'm just, exploring different fields and expanding my skill set. How about you, Kay?
So I like the two of you where you're really like knew from the start na this is what I'm interested in. Actually, kasi naabutan ko yung senior high.
Uh-huh.
So for 6 years, I was doing biology kasi I was under a science program in junior high school. And then pagka senior high, I went to STEM. So I was doing biology for like 6 years of my life. So nung nag-college ako, I had this friend na she's in Pisay. Tapos diba, they have like program for computer science there, whatever. And she showed me her code. And I don't know kasi wala akong resources for that. I didn't have like teachers who taught us how to code. So like I was just fascinated. But pero nasa biology pa rin ako. So like moving forward, I was in college na. And then like all universities and colleges na pass ko, ang result is biology or med tech except UP. I was like, so diba, parang I've been doing biology for 6 years. Parang it's such an easy decision. Like, let's go, let's do this. But somehow, yung isang comsci, out of so many, yung isang comsci na yun, there's something in it. So, ang ginawa ako, nag-spin the wheel ako. Alam mo yung sa internet?
Really?
Yeah, nag-spin the wheel ako. And
Interesting.
every time, biology yung maglabas, ulit. And that's how I knew this is what I want to do. So, I just talon una ulo. I didn't have coding experience. And then, for the first year of college, that was during the pandemic, right? So, nasa bahay lang ako and I just like do code, ganun, practice code. And at that time, kasi I didn't have guidance. Like I didn't know anyone who codes or like a software engineer. I did not have the connections I have now. So I was just coding, but it was kind of out of nowhere. And then when the quarantine was lifted, that's when I was introduced to like the tech communities. And now so that's where I am right now.
So you took computer science
Mm-hmm.
and then you chose by doing the wheel, right?
Yes. I know,
Okay.
actually, ang daming times na biology yung lumalabas.
Lumabas,
Pero
yeah.
like, okay, I don't want it.
I
don't
also
want
have an interesting story of how I chose computer science, but I want to hear yours first.
I think just going back to your point about being in senior high school, when I was in senior high school, I also took STEM and I encountered the same issue where there wasn't really any courses that were teaching anything in relation to like technology, computing, or even engineering, to be honest. I feel like senior high school and the way the STEM program is structured in the Philippines is heavily catered to raising people up to become doctors. Because they anticipate that that's what the demand is going to be. But I actually think if a lot more women in the Philippines were introduced to tech earlier, there would be a lot more of them in the industry right now, because computer science is one of those fields where it really merges sort of analytical skills and creativity that a lot of women seem to thrive on. So it's a really like a missed opportunity that they don't make that readily available in schools.
Well, I totally agree. Pero ito talaga, parang, okay, so diba, ever since I knew I was gonna be in tech. Pero I had to choose kasi ang dami like information technology, IS, computer science. So what I did to choose my parang specialization talaga is I looked in front of the mirror. Nasa harap ako ng mirror. And then I chose whatever sounded cooler in my head. So inisa-isa ko yun, guys. Inisa-isa ko yun. I was like, hi, I'm Darla. I major in information technology. I was like, pwede na, but like, meron pa eh. So I tried, hi, I'm Darla. I'm an information systems major. I'm like, wala pa rin. Wala pa yung na hinahanap ko. So lastly, I tried, so sabi ko, hi, I'm Darla. I'm a computer science major. And I was like, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. So nung entrance na ako for exams, yan, sinircle ko na yung computer science because that sounded way too cooler than the other field. So ayun.
PWA Pilipinas is the premier community for creators and enthusiasts of progressive web apps and modern web technologies in the Philippines. Join them for their upcoming Tech Talk Roadshow and meetups across the country, including stops in Metro Manila, Cebu, Baguio, Davao, and more. Stay updated by following PWA Pilipinas on social media or visiting puapilipinas.org.
Yeah, so diba, college and everything. How was your college life? Like, did you struggle? Parang did you have any struggles, being a student in a male-dominated course or a field?
I do have a question before I answer that. I do have a question for you kasi, di ba, you had your choices. Kasi in UP, sa amin, computer science lang talaga siya at that time. As a cloud engineer na, tama ba?
Yes.
Magmamatter ba siya if you got IS or IT at that time?
Honestly, no. Kung meron man, onti lang yung advantages. It really boils down to the advantages. Pero pagdating sa tech industry, wag kayo mag-alala. Kahit anong course pwede, basta mapakita mo na meron kang skill set for that job role. So, yun lang.
When you were like doing that practice in the mirror, what do you think was the appeal of computer science and why did it seem so much cooler?
Kasi it's the two words eh. It's computer and science. I'm like, wow, tapos babae pa ako. Like, alam mo yun, parang, it just sounds so cool for a girl to be doing computer science. Yeah.
What about your university experience, Kay?
Oh, for me, kasi it is true. It really is a male-dominated na field. So for me, I don't really have a problem with working with the guys kasi my classmates are really nice. Like, we're really like a small population lang kasi in UP Mindanao. And the people there, the computer science community there is very helpful and they're very nice. I think for me, it's just a matter of like missing feminine friendships. But other than that, it's cool.
So in UP Diliman, I would say it was pretty much the same. The boys definitely outnumber the girls, but to me that wasn't necessarily an issue because I just see everyone as the same. Like, from my experience at least, there hasn't been much difference as to whether or not they have a Y chromosome in terms of skill or personality. A lot of those really come more into the environment they were raised in and so on rather than, their chromosomes.
Yeah.
But I definitely noticed that my experience not just working, but also as I was trying to, get an education and get my degree was slightly different from the experience of the boys in our class. Because just to give you an example, I was heavily involved in the competitive programming space and hackathons when I was in university. But when I would join those competitions and I would be, sitting at these tables, explaining the technology that we were building, a lot of the time when people would ask technical questions, they would immediately gravitate to the man in our group. And even though like we were also doing the build projects, they just automatically assumed that the boy probably worked on all the technical details and we were just there to do the presentation, which is like a really bad discriminatory statement or behavior to exhibit. And it was little things like that I noticed that really bothered me. And like you said, it would have been nice to have more girls to share that experience with and to kind of just have girls be more visible in the industry as a whole so that we wouldn't even have to deal with that in the first place.
I guess we can all agree on one thing. Ang struggle ko rin kasi during college is, again, the lack of representation of women in the field. So parang yun din yung another challenge, no? Kasi based on my experience, there aren't that many videos or content, again, showcasing women in tech here in the Philippines. So kaya din ako nag-decide to be a content creator kasi I just know how much representation matters in, motivating others to pursue their goals. So yun talaga yung, I think yung one of the main challenges here in the Philippines when it comes to women in tech is yung representation natin. So I'm honestly glad that this episode happened because it's needed. It's needed. And before we wrap things up, I just wanna ask you guys like a last few questions, which is, diba, we're talking about representation here whatsoever. Ano ba yung pinaka-advice na maibibigay niyo for women in tech starting in the tech industry?
On my end, if I were to give advice to anyone that is interested in pursuing a career in tech, I would say that you need to not just practice your technical skills, but you also need to practice some soft skills, because the only way you can really get ahead in technology if you want to eventually reach a leadership position is you have to be able to market yourself and build a personal brand. And you already have certain forces that are working against you, not even due to malicious intent necessarily. Sometimes it just boils down to lack of visibility, and people, they do tend to fall back to like basic pattern recognition where they see there's a lot of men in tech. So maybe the safe choice would be to hire men or to promote men into positions of leadership. So in order to work against that, you need to learn how to advocate for yourself, build a brand that really stands out, and show them that, you are coming into tech with intent and you have a brand and a purpose that stands out from the rest and makes it compelling for them to kind of buy into you as not just as an individual contributor, but also as a leader.
I just want to preface this advice with a context muna kasi you are engineers, right? And I'm a UI UX designer. So like the microaggressions I receive is not more like the people in my college, but like in society in general. Kasi diba, there's this like notion na in tech, like the girls are the designers and then the boys are the engineers, like you've mentioned that a while ago. And for me, if you're a girl and you are a designer, like the moment you hear something like that, it's a microaggression. But to take back your power, you need to acknowledge that is, even though people are saying that to like, for like not good intentions, you need to acknowledge that what you are doing is important. You take back your power by acknowledging, yes, I am a girl and I am a designer and my work is important. So yun. And also one thing that I face all the time is imposter syndrome. So just keep on doing what you're doing. Because like every time you feel the imposter syndrome, just look back on all the work that you've done and it does make you feel better.
Okay, so actually, itong question na ito yung pinakamahirap sagutin. Kasi as a public speaker, like I always give out some random motivational. So talagang kanina, before going here, talagang inisip ko talaga ano bang magandang ibigay sa women in tech. So I have like mga 4 things lang. Number 1 is I want you guys to show up. Okay, so show up for yourself and for the women who may not yet have the confidence or voice to be heard. So it's really important to show up. So attend events, join communities, and again, like you guys said, make your presence known, take your power. Second is be there even when no one else is, because your consistency and discipline and perseverance will really set you apart here in the industry. And lastly is, here, very important, girls, makinig kayong mabuti, is to never let anyone tell you what you can or can't do. Kasi only you have the power, again, to define your path and your potential. So, yun yung talagang gusto kong, yan ang sa brain nyo, girls. Na, yan. So, yeah, I guess that's it for our episode, Women Tech Sisters. We're now Tech Sisters. So again, this is Women's Voices and Women's Stories, and I hope you guys had a great time and feel empowered and get your iced coffee, ladies. Okay, do you guys have any last words before we wrap things up?
No, I'm just glad that we had this conversation because it's not often that you get
Yes.
to sit in spaces with other women working in tech. I mean, just women, and to be able to like freely discuss these things. I think it's very empowering as well, and I hope that the people watching really get something out of this.
I'm really happy to meet all of you tonight for the first time.
Mm.
I really had a good conversation with you, and for all the women in tech out there, I want you to embody this kind of like mindset. Now, the kind of experiences that we have is like different from other people, and so be the person, the girl that you would have needed the time that you were starting in tech. So yeah, that's it.